Well, to talk more about this with me now, I'm joined live on the set by Marie Martin, Migration and Asylum Program Officer from the NGO Euromed Rights. Excuse me. Thanks for coming in, Marie.
Thank you.
We just heard the Interior Minister there saying he's sure the majority is going to stick together. And just to remind our viewers, Macron does have a majority in Parliament with his party Republic on the move. And yet, these lawmakers do come from both sides of the political fence, the right and the left. Do you think that the law will indeed pass, given where these people are coming from?
Well, sadly speaking, it's likely that it will pass, indeed, and that's irrespective of a number of warnings from the human rights field amongst the NGO sector, but also from the Council of Europe. The Commissioner on Human Rights has warned against that bill, the same from the side of the UNHCR, which is the UN High Commissioner on Refugees. So that's a very big issue to us because it shows that irrespective of the voices against that piece of legislation, there's absolutely no willingness to not even amend, but to just decide not to go for that bill, which is infringing on human rights of migrants.
Tell me more specifically about that. What do critics of the bill, what do human rights organizations like your own, or those who are protesting in front of the Parliament now, for that matter, find about it? What are the worst parts of the bill for them?
Well, this bill is meant to make the right to asylum more effective. Right of asylum cannot be just a matter of how speedy the procedures are. The problem is, as usual, that there's not enough means meant to be addressing the need for judicial support for asylum seekers. It's just going to be restrictive of the rights of asylum seekers because shorter delays with less means to even assess their own requests will limit their rights. And that's also something that will impact on the asylum officers in charge of examining those requests. That's one first issue. The second, as mentioned in your report, is obviously the resort to detention, not as a last resort and for a lengthy period of detention, which is a problem, not only because it's not effective. I mean, in France, we've had from 32 to 45 days of detention that has not increased the number of people being returned back because they had no right to stay. And the detention period is actually higher in countries like Germany or the UK. And these countries actually return less people than France does at the very moment. So what's the point of increasing detention up to 90 days? This is a lot of time. This is 3 months behind bars for people who are no criminals.
How much do you think this bill is about politics? I mean, when you look at polls, a recent one showed that 63% of French voters think there's just too many immigrants in France.
Well, that's just, we're talking about less than 0.5% of the population here. So, I mean, there's a complete fantasy about what's going on right now in France. And let's remind ourselves that the number of asylum seekers in France have increased in numbers compared to 2016, for instance. But this is nothing compared to other countries within the European Union. And we're still the 5th or 6th economic power in the world. So we're not capable of hosting people properly, providing proper reception conditions. This is not a matter of means, this is a matter of reception and also on political will. And this is what we've been denouncing for the many years already.
Marie, thank you so much for coming to speak to us. Marie Martin from the NGO Euromed Rights. Thank you.
Thank you.